Hello, what is AWS Cloud Map? AWS Cloud Map is basically just a dynamic DNS service for the internal things inside your cloud. If you already know what a dynamic DNS, what a DynDNS service is, then you're right. You can probably pause the video, stop the video. It's not necessary for you to watch on. For everyone else, you can keep watching. So let's start. What is a DNS? Not what is a DNS service, but let's start with the DNS service. If you don't know what a DNS service is, probably you should go and check it out. Basically, on a DNS server, if we have a DNS server here or a DNS service, we have basically kind of like a table, and on the one side we have a domain, so in some kind of name, and on the other side we have an IP address. And so it's basically just a dictionary. And what happens is if we have a client and say, well, the client wants to go to the domain a.com, then the DNS service looks it up. Oh, a.com, oh, what? That's this entry. Oh, that's this IP address. Here's the IP address. And then the client can go and check out the actual service over here using that IP address. Let's say it's 172.something, something, something. Okay, the problem is what happens if this service has a not static IP address. So let's say every 24 hours this IP address changes. What happens then is you could either manually always register the new IP address here, or you could go with what is the dynamic system here. The service itself the service registers itself. So what it does is, if it goes online, it says, well, you know what, I want to register for a.com, and my IP address is, by the way, 172.something, right? And now the DNS service has the information, and the client can do the same thing again. So nothing changes for the client itself. So the difference is just in how the registration happens. Is it manual or is it not manual? How often does it change, right? And why does this help? Let's say you have like some kind of a load balancer and you have EC2 instances, or like, I don't know, some machines that like spin up and spin down depending on the load. That means you have new IP addresses coming up and old IP addresses going down. And what can happen here now, let's say the load is high, then we just spin up another machine, and then the machine says, well, I'm also a.com, but my IP address is 183 something something something. And then now we have two entries here in the DNS service. And then we have another machine because the load is even higher, and then it's the same. Let's say this is 19, let's go with 193, right? And then at some point, maybe the services like unregister themselves. What happens then is like the service says, well, I'm not here anymore. Please take me away. And then the DNS service takes the entry away. Let's say it takes the entry away here. Or maybe the service just dies. How do I, maybe here, skull, I don't know. Maybe the service just dies. And then the DNS service will also pick up on that because it's constantly sending a ping, and then it will take away the entry, and then this will also go away. And this is the dynamic part of the DynDNS, dynamic DNS system. And this is essentially what Cloud Map is. And essentially for this kind of use case, as far as I'm aware of. So you have instances that come up and go down and always change their or change their IP addresses. So whenever you have a system that has a changing IP address, then you can use this one. And there's usually, how do you set it up? Important things, you don't set it up here in the Cloud Map part. So you set up Cloud Map initially. You say, well, I want to have some Cloud Map. I don't know how they call it. Some Cloud Map thingy. It's a new Cloud Map something. And then on the service part, you say, well, okay, I want to register this for adding it to Cloud Map. There's like a checkbox somewhere, and you set the checkbox, and then you say, well, I want to use and then you have like IDs for this new thing here. Set the ID of this one, and like it adds it here. And then from your other services that maybe contact, like inside the cloud, want to talk to this service, they can then use this domain name to access that service instead of setting the IP address, and then even worse case, setting the IP address every time when there's a new instance or when the IP address changes. Okay, I hope that was some light, although a lot of talking. Thank you very much.